Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Ignite. So we have pushed through our first 9 sessions, which is the Spark portion, and now we get into what we call the Elementals portion. So a lot of good content coming up. Today we are going to be talking about prospecting, which I am excited about. We'll have a lot of little insights to discuss about finding business and selling houses, right? That's what we want to do here. So let's go ahead and jump on into this. So I just put the participant guide into the chat. If you don't have a copy of that, you can grab that there. But otherwise, if you have any questions, you guys know how I roll. Unmute yourself, raise your hand, do whatever you got to do. Let me know when you have questions, comments, anything you want to, chime in on. I'd love to hear from y'all. So we're going to focus today on lead generating for business and finding buyers and sellers, which is all about growing the business. And so with that said, let's get into this. So we're going to talk about connect prospecting to lead gen. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into a couple of different prospecting methods. And then we're going to take some action and create a plan. So you guys are all going to leave here with some specifics around what activities do you want to do? And, putting them in order of importance of where you expect most of your business to come from, and then working with that to generate and create a schedule. So I want to just kind of do a quick recap. We talked about this actually last week. This is the lead generation model from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent number 2. Okay, the second version of the book that they've been teasing for a long time. It'll come out one day, but they're giving us the models of lead generating. So you can see number 1 at the top. Prospecting and marketing. Thursday, we're going to discuss marketing. Today is all about prospecting. So, you look at this and it's basically a big funnel, right? So we prospect and market, which funnels people into the captured stage. So now we have a person. Now we have, somebody, and we typically would have a piece of content, contact information, a phone number, email, social media profile, whatever that might look like. Okay. Number 2 is capturing a person and converting that into a lead, right? Someone that's expressed interest in buying or selling. Okay. And then that is remember we talked about this, the leads are a one-way communication, right? You may find somebody that says they're interested in buying or selling, but if you're not having a conversation back and forth, they're merely a lead. They're not a contact yet. So number 3 is a contact. So that's on the right side of the funnel here. A contact is somebody that you have connected with and you've had a two-way communication. You've interacted back and forth, and now you're giving value-based content to try to get them to take an action, okay? Once we have that two-way communication, we're now connected. So we've captured a lead, we've connected with them, we move into phase 4, which is cultivating, right? And this is, again, interactive, action-based with programs. And this is where we are, nurturing this contact that we've generated that's expressed interest in doing something in the real estate industry here, buying, selling, investing, whatever that might look like. We're working them through the qualification process to make sure they can afford to do what they want to do. And if all goes well, we push them into step number 5, which is to get an appointment with them, right? So here's where we do an appointment, we do a consultation, we do a needs analysis. What are you looking for? What's important to you about executing on this plan of yours? And then let's create the plan. How can I help, et cetera. Once we have that appointment, ideally they would move into the active phase, meaning they are now a client. You've now, achieved and converted into a client where they're now either, actively looking at properties or they've listed their home for sale. And we're pushing them forward to number 7, which is to get under contract. And then number 8, we push them into closing escrow. Okay. So that is our funnel. That is our funnel for lead generation. And so it starts at the top, right? Prospecting and marketing, pushing them into that middle phase, which is where your database and command really shines. And then at the bottom is working them through the sales pipeline, from cultivating to appointment to active to under contract to closed. Okay. So that's what we are looking to do here. So let's kind of keep going, and we'll talk a little bit more about the lead generation funnel. Okay. So this is the flow, and prospecting and marketing are the lead gen efforts that bring leads and contacts into the database. And you hear us, at KW, we talk about database all the time. Every single day, we're going to talk about database on some level, right? And so you can tell by the amount of time we spend talking about it how important it is. It's really all about, leveraging tech and enabling yourself to keep track of all the people that you generate, right? So whether it's prospecting or marketing, this is never a practice that any agent ever stops. Okay, the lead gen, prospecting, and marketing never stops, because without leads and contacts, then there is no possibility for any closed transactions. And without closed transactions, guess what? No paychecks, right? No commissions, right? So that would not be good. So we'll never stop this process of lead gen. So let's look and see what we call the 2 M's. This is basically, a purposeful and intentional way to lead generate. And this is the life of your business. Okay. So lead generating, if we think about just sales and marketing in general, lead generation is taking a message, okay, and using a method. So taking a message and using a method to drive the message to a desired audience. And that's what we call the 2 M's. Okay. So the message, right, needs to match the target, and it needs to make an offer. So there's a couple more M's for you, right? So if you look on the left-hand side, we have a message. We need to match it to a specific market, and we need to make an offering, right? So it needs to match your market. It needs to make an offer because we want to generate immediate responses. And ultimately, the message should match the market by tailoring, right, the intended message to the sentiments and market conditions of a target group, a target audience within which you operate. Okay. So if you look on the left side of the model here, match your market, then it says target audience. So those are the specific people you want to market to based on the market conditions. So let's think about that for a second, right? So it's potentially pretty easy for us as agents to be out there and say, I am going to market to anybody that wants to buy a house, sell a house, invest in a house, lease a house, or lease out a property. Okay. So every human on earth, that's my market. Okay. Well, here's the challenge with that. There's no tailored message there. There's no specific message that you have that will get you a higher rate of return. So if all your media and all your marketing is, I can help you buy, I can help you sell, I can help you rent, I can help you invest, I can get you a mobile home, I can help you with vacant land, I can get you commercial property, I can help you buy a gas station, I can help you buy industrial, blah, 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 right? That's probably a little too much. Your message is going to get lost because you don't have a target, right? So the target audience, and then a target audience based on market conditions. So think about that. Who is buying and selling? Who is buying and selling, right? So I'll tell you one, first-time buyers, whether the market's going up or going down, it doesn't matter. They're always first-time buyers in the market, period. Okay. You're always going to have a group of first-time buyers that want to buy property, no matter whether interest rates are 15% or, prices are going down, prices are going up. They're always going to be there. Okay. You're always going to have a segment of people that are selling property, people that are going through major life changes, right? Death, divorce, job loss, job transfer out of area, things along those lines where they have to sell their property. So those are like old standbys. Those are always people that need to buy, people that, well, I should say want to buy, and people that need to sell. And then there's other segments of, target audiences based on market conditions. So if we think about locally, why are people buying and selling? So, for some of you guys that have sold property recently, I see a few of you on here. Tell me, why did people buy, or why did people list their property? Who wants to share something with me? Or if you have a buyer lead or a seller lead, why do they want to do something?
They
What do
see
you?
the benefit in home ownership.
Say it again, Suhey.
Um, for me, they saw the benefit of home ownership and always dreamed of having their own home where they can do their own thing.
Okay, yeah. So they see the benefit of just owning real estate, right? And all the benefits that you get from that. So great. I love that. Why else? Why else, guys and gals? I see some of you that have sold property
Divorce.
recently.
I haven't sold a property recently, but people sell for divorce,
Yep.
for going through divorce.
Yep, absolutely. Right. Life changes, things like that. By the way, I'm sure you're all on social media and I'm sure you're going through your news feeds every day to see if you're seeing things like this, like familial changes, expanding family, shrinking family, the divorce, death, things like that, and paying attention because these are indicators for people that want to buy or sell, right? So if those become our target audiences, whether it's first time buyers that are seeing benefits to own, whether it's changes in financial or family circumstances, you can create tailored messages and you can have multiple tailored messages. You don't have to have just one niche, right? You can have multiple if you'd like. But it is important because, if you take the shotgun approach, which is just marketing to every human on earth, well, the tailoring of the message gets diluted and your value proposition can disappear or get to the point where it's very hard to really figure it out for a consumer. And so they're not going to want to be able to they're not going to be able to respond to you in an easy way because of the dilution of the message, right? And we're always thinking of what those market conditions look like. And Gary says it all the time. Gary Keller, you know, what is the market of the next? We know where we are today. Where are we going to be in March and April of next year? Who's going to need to buy or sell then? Right. And I'll tell you this, I mean, there's still a pandemic happening, and there are still major financial repercussions that are going to come out of this. And so, knowing who is in your sphere that has done forbearances or knowing people that are not paying their rent, these are people that are going to have to move. And we will see a certain amount of this, whether it's going to be massive and get a little crazy, or if it'll just balance things out a little bit, who knows? But for you as agents, what's most important is, are people buying and selling, and who are they, and how can I tailor a message to them specifically? Okay, so you want to be thinking about that as you go through your lead gen plan today. And then on the right side, it says to make an offer, right? So making an offer is where you create that tailored message. It's either going to be a direct offer or an indirect offer. A direct offer would be like a call to action where it's like, pick up the phone and call me immediately. If you need to sell your house, or if you're going through a family change or a divorce and you need help, call me immediately so I can help you, right? That's a direct offer, trying to get somebody to pick up the phone and reach out. An indirect offer would be pushing them to a piece of content. Maybe you have an article written on your website about, the top 5 things to get your home ready to sale, right? Or, how to buy a house, or here, download my free custom guide on buying a property, and you have your buyer presentation, right? So that would be more indirect. Okay. So that's the message. That's creating the message. On the second side, on the right side, we have the method, the manner in which you um, get the message out, get that offer out. So we talked about marketing and prospecting. Number one is prospecting for today, and we time block to do our prospecting. And at the bottom it says prepare, take action, and then maintain, meaning follow up and nurture, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what we're going to dive into a little bit more. So the two primary methods, prospecting and marketing, and we're going to cover prospecting today, and marketing will be on Thursday. Let's take a look at the next slide here. So here's kind of our pyramid of lead generation. And in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, it says that we want to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced, especially at the beginning of our career, right? Well, why? Well, if you look at prospecting, number one is it's time intensive. When you're newer to the business, you typically have more time than money to invest. Whereas marketing is money intensive, right? Money allows you to buy time. It allows you to leverage your time. So when you are selling a bunch of houses and you don't have as much time to make calls all day, you can use money to bring business into your business, such as, investing into an online lead platform, or, starting your direct mail campaign with the farming or whatever that might look like. Okay. So it's more time intensive than money intensive. Prospecting is more proactive versus passive, meaning it's something that you can control. Okay. Every day, if you set yourself a goal for contacts, you can hit that goal because it just takes a little bit more time, right? So if you want to talk to 30 people every single day, you can absolutely do that proactively. Whereas marketing, you're kind of relying on the market to see how many people are going to respond to what you are offering, plus how much money you're willing to spend on it. Okay. And then third, prospecting will create immediate results for you, whereas marketing will be more of a long-term result, right? So running ads and creating brand awareness, starting the farm, those are all things that take a lot longer. They're certainly very effective. It's just something you got to be aware of. So when you're newer to the business, we like to say that you're prospecting based and marketing enhanced. And then over time, as you get more busy, you'll flip flop. You'll become more marketing based and prospecting enhanced. You'll be more, spending money to create inbound lead flow, and then your prospecting will be going directly to those leads. So, again, proactive, direct is prospecting. It keeps you active in the business versus being reactive and waiting for the business because you're, in the act of searching for leads, right? And prospecting allows you to focus on proactive customer creation activities that will be critical to your ability to hit your numbers, especially when the market shifts and you're in a period where marketing efforts may not generate enough leads, especially for the cost, right? So right now we can generate Facebook leads for, $1 to $2. That's not going to stay that way forever, right? In a couple of years, 6 months, 5 years, who knows? Those numbers will inevitably start to go up, right? They're probably not going to go down. So we always consider, again, prospecting based and marketing enhanced. So let's take a look at some prospecting options. So this is on page 4 in your guide. So let's go ahead and flip to page 4 in the participant guide and see what we got here. So what you see are a slide of the different ways to prospect and market. And then you've got, both kind of in the middle there. So let's take a look at the prospecting side of things, right? So we've got phone calls or face-to-face, which would be looking for listings without agency, meaning people that want to sell their home but haven't hired an agent yet or need to hire a new agent potentially. So the classic examples for sale by owners and expired listings. I will tell you this, in your day-to-day travels, if you see a FSBO sign, you need to stop the car, get out, and go knock on the door. Okay, they're advertising their home for sale. So that kind of door knocking all day long, no problem. You can go knock on a FSBO door because they're promoting themselves as having something for sale. Okay, so go tour the house, go check it out, tell them you are an active agent in the area and you need to stay up to date on the market. You wanted to see what you have to offer and move into the script, strike into the conversation. When you sell this home, where do you plan to go next? How long have you lived here? What brought you to this neighborhood? If you were to go, where would you go next and how soon would that be? And then if I brought a buyer, would you be open to paying a commission on the buyer side, right? Why are you choosing not to hire an agent? Did you know that your typical for sale by owner sells generally between 8 and 16% below what real estate agents get? And that far covers even a full 6% commission, right? So by using an agent, even by paying a commission, you would net more money in your pocket, right? So let's talk about that. And then put them on a follow-up plan, nurture the lead, right? Just stay in front of them and contact them every few days, right? So that's a great opportunity. FSBOs for sure. Expired listings. We don't have a ton of expireds, but there are some. And if you're going to have a farm, you need to make sure you set yourself up on an auto drip from the MLS that sends you every expired and canceled in your farm area. You need to be aware of every time one of those properties comes off the market. So again, you can go market to them directly, prospect to them directly, and ask, if they're ready to hire a new agent to get their home sold. So it's all about motivation for those guys, by the way. So what are you looking to accomplish, and how can you make it happen? Number 2 is circle prospecting, right? So this is where you get a list of phone numbers for a neighborhood. You pick a house that's either just listed, just sold, and you draw a circle around it, maybe a mile away. That's why it's called circle prospecting. And you just start calling and advertising and letting people know in your neighborhood, maybe in apartment complexes, or just listed, just sold, like I said. But it's picking a demographic to go after and say, hey, I live here in your area in Belmont Heights. Your neighbor just sold a home for, $799 over on Termino, and just wanted to know if you knew anybody else that wants to move into the neighborhood. By the way, when do you plan on moving? How long have you lived this address? Where'd you move from? How'd you pick this area? If you were to move, where would you go next? And how soon would that be? How many times do you think I said that script? Okay, that is the just listed, just sold script. I'm going to drop in the chat right now a link to get that. There we go. Boom. Most of you have that already, but it is a Google Drive with a whole bunch of scripts in there. In the KW folder, there's one that's called KW just listed, just sold. And that's a script I just rattled off for you right now. Okay. Number 3, community outreach, charity and volunteer work. I know, Suhei, you just did a charitable event not too long ago we spoke about, which is great. Like, how are you participating in the community, right? So from what I see on the TV ads, the number 1 most requested item from homeless shelters are socks. So who here has done or is going to do a sock drive in their neighborhood or in their community, right? And make sure it's sponsored by your real estate group. So charity, volunteer work, this is stuff you can do every quarter, once a month. I mean, there's stuff you can do all the time. And, when you go to pick up the socks, guess what? You get to talk to people, right? So as hard as it's been getting face-to-face with people, you can do this and just arrange pickups by text or email or phone or whatever you want to do, and then go see the people, get the socks, talk to them for a few minutes, because a lot of people are still working from home, right? What a great opportunity. If you're not doing this, you're missing out, okay? And, everybody does something around the holidays. Well, why not do something on October 13th, which is today, Monday, right? There's no need to wait until, December or around Thanksgiving when everybody else is doing it. Do it all the time, right? People aren't just in need when it's Christmas, right? People are in need in March too, in April and May and all the other months. So think about that. What are you doing to promote? And how much does that cost? Anyone want to chime in? How much does it cost you to do a sock drive? Zero? Is zero a good number? Right? $0, unless you want to go buy some socks yourself, right? It doesn't cost any money. It's prospecting. It's an opportunity to be in front of people. Number 4 here is key relationships. So who are you connected to? And I want you all to think about this in your network now. Who do you know in your network that is somebody in a corporate setting, home builders, a loan officer at a bank, or even a teller at a bank, third-party data companies? So this would be like your, land voices and places you can get the data. Investors. So who are some of those key relationships? And there's a whole bunch of other industries that you can be thinking about this as well, right? By the way, for any of you guys that have recently sold a property or about to close on a property, here's a thought. Here's an idea. Send a closing gift to, or maybe even like a box of donuts or some food, to their office, okay? To the office in which they work. So everybody sees this cool gift package or whatever. And if you give food to the people, right? I mean, I know, pre-COVID in our office, whenever there was a sponsored lunch and learn, there was a lot of agents there, because why? There was pizza there, right? So Food brings the people to the office, and when everybody crowds around that person's desk, 6 feet away, hopefully, and says, "Wow, where'd you get the donuts from?" Or "What's this?" "Well, my realtor sent it to me. We just bought a house." And guess what? You just got some publicity, and people are going to say, "Do you have their card?" And of course, you will have sent 15 or 20 extra business cards, right? That's a great way to get more engagement with your past clients, right? Even people that maybe didn't qualify or whatever, you can do that as well, right? So think about that. Who do you know at their work? Or think about this, your past work experiences. Where did you work before? Are they working in the office? Are they open? Can you sponsor a lunch, right? And from there, maybe that leads into sponsoring an actual webinar of some sort, okay? So there are a lot of opportunities there that I think go underutilized. Continuing on with prospecting, number 5, teaching and speaking opportunities. Okay, you guys have this right now. I showed you last week the buyer workshop, the buyer presentation guide, which I can show you again in designs, the wealth building seminar we talked about. These are opportunities that are available to you all day, every day. You can do them every day if you wanted to. 6, like I said, sponsoring meals, the door-to-door canvassing. So, we're not doing door knocking right now, but there are a lot of agents that are dropping off deliverables, flyers on doors, door hangers, or what have you, and you're not doing any sort of face-to-face marketing, but you're still out in the neighborhood. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Other networking events, this can be a huge one too. I always ask questions around, like, what do you guys like to do just on a personal level? Do you have any hobbies or interests? And are people getting together talking about that stuff, right? Or here's another good one. Where did you go to school? Does your college have an alumni association that you were a part of? And are you actively exploring what they're doing for activities? Are you jumping on their Zooms? You should be doing, if you guys are local college grads, everything the alumni does, you should be attending, right? Because it's just another network to plug into. What else? Are there networking events that you can create, right? Like, do you want to create like a Facebook moms group for your sphere of influence, or, whatever it is, whatever your interests are, you can create some opportunities around that, okay? All right, let's keep going here. So number 9, booths and kiosks. Okay, so maybe not as much of that happening right now, but is there a way to create that virtually? Maybe. And then walk-ins. My old office was a lot of walk-ins, but I always told myself I'm not going to rely on that for my business. It's more passive. It's more me waiting for business, right? So think about that. And on page 4 in your participant manual, I want you guys to write down, at least 5 of these activities. At least 5 of these activities, if not 7 or 8 even, in the notes. So go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead and go into your notes on the bottom of page 4 and just write down anywhere between 5 and 8, 5 and 10 of these activities that you are going to do. Okay, minimum 5. Take a minute to do that now. On page 4, by the way, in the middle there, it says both prospecting and marketing. There are other opportunities that you can grab and add to your list. Okay, so we will keep going. I'm assuming I use these a little bit later here. Okay, we're going to use these a little bit later here. I prefer you have more than 5. And you'll see why a little bit down the road. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Prospecting. Our next slide is where we are going to talk about doing more of a deep dive into a couple of the methods. Now, the 4 methods that Ignite 2.0 wants to talk about is door knocking, agent-to-agent referrals, open houses, and social media. Well, guess what? 2 of those, the governor said we can't do right now, okay? So with that in mind, though, we're still going to review because we're going to put some spins on this stuff, right? Think about this, guys. There's a lot of people that I know that are in real estate, in and outside of our offices that basically have put their career on hold because they think they can't work. Okay. But the truth is, the reality is that's a bunch of BS, and people are selling homes left and right. And what I know is some agents are having their best years ever right now. So which camp are you going to fall in? Are you going to be in the, the taking full accountability and be the agent that is having their best year ever? Or are you going to be on the victim side of it that says, I can't do anything because we have a stay-at-home order that's still going on? Okay. We are going to do everything we can to not let external circumstances predict your outcomes. Okay. You guys are in full control. So just because 2 of the things on this list we're not able to do right now doesn't mean we can't find ways to still incorporate some method with those topics to generate business. Okay. So let's dig into what that means. So prospecting based, marketing enhanced, doors, agent referrals, open houses, social media. I know some of you guys have tried a few of these things in the past, and we're going to continue to do so. So let's look at what that looks like. So we're going to start with door knocking. And so, like I said, some of these things may not apply, but others absolutely will apply. And if you want to get into your manual, this slide is on page number 5, and there's a few little talking points here that you can take a look and review. So we're going to look at the 4 kind of methods here for lead generating in the door knocking space. So can you door knock? Technically, per CAR, face-to-face marketing is not permitted. But I'm okay if you guys go out and absolutely drop flyers off, right? Has anyone gotten any flyers at their door recently in the past week or so? Okay, good. Thank you, Brooke. We're getting stuff dropped off, right? It's happening. Suhey, thank you. So no, I think that's totally fine. Okay, I think it's totally fine. The only thing they said about no flyers specifically was not having flyers inside of a listing for people to take away. So I don't think that there's a problem with that. And as you're out and about in the neighborhoods, that's when you get a chance to see people that are outside. Okay. And you can then engage from 6 feet away, wear your mask, do all the things, and just meet people, right? Get to know people, whether it's your neighborhood or a farm you want to create. Okay. So going out into the areas can be a great opportunity to, get some branding out. Maybe you can create some sort of promotions. And if you think about that, I mean, you can do drawings, enter to win a gift card for responding, go into your website or whatever. I actually entered a drawing this morning. My friend tagged me on Instagram for a brewery that was doing a giveaway for a branded Yeti cooler and a bunch of other swag. And all I had to do was follow them and tag a few other people. And so, hey, cool, right? Great way. They now got me as a follow, right? To increase their followers, and probably the people I tagged will increase their followers as well. So how are you applying that into your business, right? You can do this with a marketing piece that's left at a property, and there's a whole bunch of other creative ways that you guys, I'm sure, can take and run with, right? So in terms of doors, here's what here's a couple things, okay? Number one, you have to know your script, right? We have to know what it is that we need to say, okay? So we need to be able to approach, we need to be able to ask, and asking means having a script that you can talk to people with, right? So at a bare minimum, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't memorized a script, the very first one you should memorize is that just listed, just sold script in the link that I just posted. Okay. You have to be able to ask people, when do you plan on moving? How long have you lived at this address? Where did you move from? How did you pick this area? If you were to move, where would you go next? How soon would that be? Those are just basic conversational questions. They're very open-ended. They're not yes or no questions, right? And so that's an opportunity to create dialogue. Okay. But at a bare minimum, just be a normal human and just say, hey, how's it going? How long have you lived in the neighborhood? Oh, that's amazing. Where'd you move from? Why did you pick this place to live? Oh, cool. What do you like about living here? Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I'm a local realtor. Here's a flyer, blah, 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 right? These are the people that you see out in the street or in their lawns, watering the lawns, doing whatever they're doing. Okay. I had this crazy idea this morning when I was thinking about door knocking, right? What if you took a little wagon, right? One of those little pull behind wagons. I bet you there's one cheap on Amazon for Prime Day. Has anyone bought anything on Amazon today yet, by the way? Anyone? No? Okay, me neither. Stay away. Dangerous. But you guys know what I'm talking about. They have those little wagons that can fold up. They got a little handle. You can drag them behind you. And you can stick a cooler in there. And then you go to like the grocery outlet and you get some prepackaged little ice creams, right? And you just drag that little wagon around. And if you see someone out in the yard, you say, would you like an ice cream? It's 90 degrees today, right? And you just be the guy, be the gal, be the person that gives out something local to your community, right? Could you create a brand around that? Probably, right? I mean, one of our agents in the Long Beach office has an ice cream truck. He's got a lot of notoriety around, right? So, think about that. And what's the investment on that? Well, probably less than $100 to get the wagon, a cooler and your first round of ice cream, right? And then all you got to do is refill the ice cream. And maybe it's something else. Maybe it's snacks. Maybe it's something for kids that you see that they might be interested in. Maybe it's sunscreen. Maybe it's a mini bottle of hand sanitizer. Whatever it is, right? Like it's an item of value that's going to create impression and get people to remember you, and it's going to give you a chance to interact with somebody, right? With a mask on from 6 feet away, right? So that is a great way to be out in the neighborhoods. That's a great way. I mean, people will look out their window and see who the hell is that dragging a wagon around. I got to go see what's going on, right? You will get some notoriety around that. And then you can print something out from Command in the designs and you could tape it to the side, get your branding on there. And then when you close a deal, you can spend a little bit more money and maybe invest in something a little bit more permanent. Okay. So there's a great opportunity around that. So I think that you absolutely can be doing this right now. And you know what? We live in SoCal, and even in the wintertime, it's not that cold to be out doing this stuff. So you can be doing this year round, except for the 5 days of rain that we get. Okay. So that's one opportunity. So it says door knocking. We're going to shift that to, essentially, quote unquote farming. And I know in the marketing section, they're going to talk a little bit more about farming, but I do want to kind of just throw out to you guys, in conjunction with taking the wagon around, in conjunction with the flyers and the door hangers and the stuff you leave at people's houses, there's other things that you can do, right? Like, plugging into the Nextdoor app, making sure that you're on the app and posting something every day and communicating with people. You can be going into all the local businesses and making sure you know who owns the dry cleaner and the burger joint and the tailor and whatever it is, right? You need to be communicating with all these people and slowly but surely just creating a network and relationships, right? Remember, real estate isn't hard. It's about meeting as many new people as you can. And it's about creating and maintaining long-term relationships with them so that you can earn their business and earn their referral business, right? It's nothing more than that. It's nothing more than that. So where are you creating these relationships? Well, when we think about being out in the neighborhoods, this is a great one. This is a great one right here, okay? So that is like our model here. So when we think about this, act means take the action, right? So, set up your time. So, make sure you have time blocks the time to be able to go out and do this, right? So you're going to approach the people, you're going to take the action, you're going to ask for business, ask for contact information, right? So as you're handing out the ice cream or giving the flyer out, you might say something like, hey, your neighbor actually asked me about home values, and they were curious about what's going on in the market. So I set them up on my my monthly neighborhood campaign that just tells you what's going on in the neighborhood. Would you like me to send that to you as well? Right? And they'll say yes, and you'll say, great, what's your email? And what was your name again? Okay, cool. I got your address right here, so I'll make sure we get your neighborhood assigned, and you'll get a twice a month email that'll show you everything that's happening in your market here. right? So that's a value add, right? It's something that people would want. And by the way, if you heard how I said that, your neighbor asked me about the neighborhood and the market, right? So what we're doing is we're kind of implying that you have something that other people want and they should want it as well. Like all your neighbors keep asking me for this market snapshot. So would you like me to send that over to you as well? What's your best email address? Okay. Because they don't want to be left out, right? People don't want to be left out. They want to be, given the opportunity as well. So that's your ask because you're building the database, right? Getting people into command. And then you're going to ask for permission to stay in touch with them from time to time, whether that's via email or maybe a phone call, et cetera. And then the last piece of this is advance. Advance means get them into the database, get them on a touch campaign, the monthly neighborhood or the biweekly neighborhood nurture, and then maybe a quarterly call plan to where you reach out and either deliver another piece to the door, make a phone call, or send them a direct email or a message on social media. Okay. So those are the 4 components to the quote unquote door knocking. Okay. The door knocking 2.0 COVID-19 version, right? So we'll call it that. All right. Let's move on. Remember, guys and gals, questions, unmute, happy to chat. Okay. Next, agent to agent referrals. So here's where we want to think about getting referrals from other real estate agents. Well, wait a minute. Why would another agent send me business? Well, first of all, the obvious answer is from out of area, out of state, out of county, out of city, right? But you will encounter agents through your day-to-day activities that are not active and don't know how to buy and sell houses, and they'll engage you and ask you to help them, right? And maybe represent them. I've helped people that are agents, even brokers that just didn't know what's happening in the market now. They just happen to have their license that they keep renewing, but they need help, right? So you can generate business that way. But also, I want you guys to be thinking about, what does your out of area network look like? Do you have friends and family in other states, in other counties, et cetera, that you can be plugging into? It's very important that you are doing this for sure. And I want to show you how we can kind of leverage some of this stuff, right? So the referral model is on here. It's grow, manage, and maintain. So grow means, growing the network of referrals. Maintaining is staying in communication with these people. And then long-term management with staying in touch and keeping track of your referrals. So I wanted to show you within Command how to use the referral network, how to add agents, and how to initiate referrals. So let me go ahead and do a new screen share here real quick, and we will take a look at the magic of KW Command. So here we are. Let me move a few windows around here. So on the command login here, you're going to see right here, this little person right there. Let me click the KW logo, referrals. Okay. So click on referrals. It's going to open a new window here. And it's going to show you what your network looks like. Okay. It may be all zeros at the beginning, right? No invites, no people in your network, but you'll grow it over time. Okay. So first of all, if you get new invites, they're going to come here and you can click it. And I got Ryan Lowry from Prescott, Arizona that wants me to be in his network. So actually I sent this as an outbound invite. He hasn't responded. Bad KW agent. He must not be using Command. Okay. But on my dashboard, I do have 97 people in my referral network all across the country. Okay. So I want to show you how to grow your network. So you can click the Grow My Network button right here, and it's basically going to take you to the map. So how do we do this, right? Well, first, you need to think about, well, where do you want to grow your network? Okay. My dad used to live in Nampa, Idaho, and I have a lot of family still there in Nampa. So let's take a look at what Nampa, Idaho looks like. Okay. Here are all the transactions that are occurring in and outside of Nampa, Meridian, which is all just north of Boise, Idaho. Okay. And now I can use different search tools. I can find agents, I can find market centers, I can find people already in my network, or referral patterns, which I'll show you in a second. And then on the right side over here, here's a list of all the agents that are selling property in this area. Now, I can sort this by all kinds of different things, right? I have on here first and last name. I've got on here closed units, listings sold, buy sides, leases. Okay. So I know that most of my family owns their homes already. So I'm going to look for whoever is the top listing sold person in this area. And I see Lacey Bishop. If I click the little caret on the side here, I can see that she has closed 386 units with 196 listings. Okay. That sounds like it might be a pretty good referral partner, right? Now, if I wanted to drill in a little bit more, the farther into the neighborhoods I go, the more these numbers are going to change and the order of the people will change. This person, I think, is obviously the number one producer in this area. So if I want to now add her as a referral partner, right, I can click the add contact. Would you like to send an invitation? Yes, I would. I can make a message. Hello. I would like to be a referral partner with you. Done. Make sure you spell things correctly. I'm going to hit send, and then that's it. Okay, so now I have worked to add somebody to be a referral partner. Now, how will I know if she accepts me into her network? Two ways. Number one, the little bell icon in your commands. These are your alerts, right? So I will be able to see when somebody asks me to join the referral network or has accepted my request, okay? The other way is if you plug into the Kelly app on your phone, okay? So I hope you all have the Kelly app, K-E-L-L-E. That's where, as long as you turn alerts on, you will get alerts received. If you use the texting feature in command for some of the smart plans, you'll get text through the Kelly app. So make sure you have Kelly downloaded onto your phone. Last thing I'll show you real quick with referrals, which I think is pretty cool, is you can go to referral patterns. And here you can see where are referrals being sent out to and coming in from, right? So let's say I want Long Beach. This toggle is going to tell me where are referrals going out to. Las Vegas, number one, San Antonio, Tucson, Austin. So basically Nevada, Texas, and Arizona are the top referral outbounds for Long Beach. Where are Long Beach referrals coming in from? I can click right here. Same stuff, Tucson, Downey. So a lot of people are moving from Downey to Long Beach, but Tucson by far has almost 10% of the total received referrals. Okay. So how about I go back to where I just was? Let's go look at Nampa.
Hey Nick, are these typical KW agents or are they from other brokerages as well?
This is only Keller Williams because this is all within command. So we can't add an external referral. I think they're going to allow us to add a referral partner from another company, but for now, this is just all within KW. So where are people moving from Nampa? Nampa, people are moving to Colorado, Texas, Colorado. So why is this useful? Well, if I'm in Long Beach and I want to see where are people getting referred to, and we saw Tucson, right, was the number one. If you have a listing in Long Beach that you want to promote outside of the local area, you can run Facebook ads in Tucson, Arizona, and try to generate leads for people that are moving from out of state into your community, right? So that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty awesome. So I just wanted to show you what the referral program looks like. If I want to create a referral, it's pretty simple. I hit new referral and you just walk through the process, okay? First, you would find an agent or select an agent. So if I already have my network and I wanted to pick Brock here in Nebraska, I can just go find him and add him, right? Or if I haven't connected yet, I might call the other agent first and ask them to accept my request. What kind of referral is it? What kind of fee is it? I want 100% commission referral, right? Okay, maybe not. You'll be at 25, 30%. How long do they have to accept? You can put in your minimum and max prices and notes, and then you can select your contact from the database. So ideally, this person's already inside your command, and it'll populate their contact information here. And then you can put in their desired location, and you can hit send. And that would generate a referral. Now, I will say this. I do recommend you first call the other agent and send them the referral fee agreement. So you get that in writing with them first. And then initiate it through command afterwards, right? Get the compensation agreement signed first, and then you can track it through command. And guys, we keep talking about data and database and artificial intelligence. The more we are using the platform, the smarter it's going to get over time, which is going to help you dramatically in your business as you start creating these out-of-state relationships. Real estate doesn't have to be super localized. You can start creating these nationwide networks, right? So if you grew up in another state or county, you need to be taking advantage of this to a high level. Because remember, if you can get, a 30% referral, every 3 deals basically equals a complete transaction, right? So that's pretty cool. And you don't do any of the work, and you don't have any of the liability. Somebody else does it, and they just send you a check for thousands of bucks. So not bad. Take advantage of that. Okay. All right. Let's get back into our PowerPoint. So we talked about command referrals. The next one is talking about our open houses. Okay. So again, we're just at a disadvantage right now with open houses. It is what it is. But what can we do? Right? I never want to talk about what can't we do. I want to know what's in our control. Okay. And we will use some of the material here to talk about the general idea and the concept. And when open houses are allowed again, we will definitely do more of a deep dive. Can we do an open house? Well, we've been pushing virtual and digital everything. And why? Because the state has mandated it. They say that showing should be in a virtual environment. Okay. But there is some good stuff on here that I wanted to talk a little bit about. Let's see here. Let me get to the slide I want to show you real quick. Right here. Okay. And we're going to tie this together with how you can conduct a virtual open house. So here's what happened in the old days back in February, right? Seems like a decade ago. So usually a new agent would join the market center, and you guys would want to do an open house, but you didn't have a listing. So you would call other agents and you would ask them, hey, you have a great listing. Do you mind if I hold it open this weekend or during the week? Okay. And if you were really diligent and you really wanted to do well in real estate and you want to make a lot of money, you would probably do this 3 to 5 days out of the week. Okay. So since we're not doing this physically anymore, what can we do? What can we do? And here's what I would say. And this, I think, should be a part of all of your marketing plans. Okay. Number one, you still go reach out to other agents that have listings. And you ask them, do you mind if I promote your listing using my social media platform? Okay. And most of the agents within our offices are going to say yes. They want the exposure and they want to help you succeed. So all you got to do is ask. And then, ideally it's a vacant property. And at that point, that's when you, basically set an appointment, go do a virtual tour, which is basically taking video of the property, right? And there's some pretty cool apps out there. You can do a lot of like the 3D Matterport with using apps on your phone. Okay, so you create the media, you create the content, and maybe you get there's all kinds of cool stuff again on Amazon. It's Prime Day, so you can find little gimbals that stabilize your video. You can get a cheap light to go on front so you can light up the video nice. And then you just do a tour of the property, right? And whether it's, a cool 3D version or if it's just a video, whatever, You get your media, okay? And then you create an event around that. And look at the model on the page here. Host a speaker, offer a gift, get the house in showing shape and go live, okay? So you can make an event around this. And it doesn't even have to be like specific to the house so much. It's more like who wants to come with me on a virtual tour of a home, of what to look for in a house, and come take a look at this new listing, by the way, right? So then you go live and you tell them, hey, it's 123 Main Street. I'm excited to show you on Thursday. I'm going to give you a full walkthrough of this property. I'm going to have a guest speaker that's going to tell you how to buy a house with no money out of your pocket, right? Or zero down, okay? And we're going to do a raffle that day for a $25 gas card or a Visa gift card or an Amazon card, whatever you want to do, right? And please register at the link below. And you create an Eventbrite around it, or you can use your Zoom account to make a registration page, and they have to log in and register, right? And then that day, you go on Zoom, or you go on Google Hangouts, or you go on Facebook Live, and you share your screen, just like I'm doing right now with all of you, sharing the screen. And you walk them through the house, basically, just like you would do in an open house. You would say, come on in. Here's the entryway. Take a look at. Notice this. I want you guys to see. This is the original 1950s oak hardwood floors. They've been repolished and they're in great shape. And if you look, they put crown molding, and here's a custom paint color they chose. Let's go take a look at the kitchen. They were brand new kitchen counters installed, stainless steel appliances. Let's take a look at the cabinet space. Here's the laundry room, and you just walk them through the house, right? And you don't need any audio on your video. You just show the video, and then you guys talk. And you ask them, if you have any questions along the way, please let me know. And that tour will take 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you want to do your video, and start and stop, pause it, whatever, right? And then you say, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for the day. Here's our lender. He's going to tell you the 2 ways to buy a home with a 0 down payment and with a bonus of what some other options are available to you, right? Then we go into down payment assistance, VA loans, and we talk about FHA, and then that's it. You ask for questions, you pull off the raffle, and then you're done, right? And you can promote that within your own network for fun. You can promote it to the public through Eventbrite. You could run Facebook ads around this. Just like we would do in normal times, we would run Facebook ads for our own open houses, okay? So you can still do all of this stuff. I don't see a lot of people doing it. I have seen a few for sure. When are you going to do it? What can you do? What's in your control? This is all in your control, okay? So that being said, I did want to show you a little bit of the open house content because there's some good stuff on there, okay, that you can take advantage of, and you can still do it today. I promise you can still do it today. It's up to you to take initiative and be the one to do it. All right. Okay, let's take a look at the next slide. Social media. So this is the fourth of the 4 prospecting methods they wanted to do a deep dive in today. And I think we can do a good chat on social media. And I will say, I've said it before, if you're not using social media, if you're not using video, you are absolutely missing the boat, okay? We need to be taking advantage of where people are right now. If they're not out in the public, they are certainly behind a screen, on a phone, on a tablet, on a laptop. We've got to be utilizing social media, okay? It's an important lead generation strategy in it. My notes say many real estate businesses. I would say all successful real estate businesses have a social media component, okay? Used correctly, social media allows you to instantaneously connect with potential clients and to begin to build relationships that will result in more business, right? Remember what we talked about. Meet people, build relationships, earn their business, earn their referrals. It's real simple. Social media is just one other place to meet new people, okay? We get to create content. We get to share content with an audience, and the audience is generally made up of people that you know. Sometimes it's shared with people you may not know, which is even better, right? Getting pushed out. And we have multiple different channels to use for social media, okay? Obviously, we've got the big boys, Facebook and Instagram. There are others, right? Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, right? So the first thing you want to think about is the select portion of this. So what social media are you going to use? Okay, I'm going to ask again, who has a TikTok account? I see one hand up. Drop it in the chat if you do as well. Okay. And then I guess the second question is, who is using TikTok, as in creating content? Okay. I'm not hearing a lot of me, right? So, Brooke, by the way, I saw you raise your hand. You better follow me. You better follow me. I need more followers. I'm up to 15 now. So, I'm just waiting for that one viral one to hit, right? They're all relevant and they're all going to hit different segments of people. And, you know, they're all being utilized already. So, go on to Facebook, go on to Instagram, go on to TikTok, go on to or TikTok, whatever ones you want, TikTok, whichever one you plan to use, right? And go search real estate and see what you come up with and see who's using it and see what they're doing. And you know what, KW, we are a big fan of R&D, rip off and duplicate, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. People are already doing this stuff at a high level. Why do you need to go and do it any differently than what people are already doing successfully? Okay. So we'll get more to that in a second here. I see Nick, my friend, said he went to 3 open houses last week. So, there are many agents that are trying to get around the rules by, posting open house signs that say virtual, appointment only, et cetera. If you have an open house sign in the public right now, there are agents out there that are not appreciative of that, and they are turning people into the DRE and the Board of Realtors. So, be aware and be ready for that. You got to really be careful about, doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, Nick, I know people are definitely trying to do what they can to get out of get around the rules, basically. Okay. Continuing on social wise. So first, select your channels. Okay. And then, we have to think of like a strategy at some level. Platforms first, schedule would be second, meaning when are you going to post and how frequently. And I'll give you a kind of a general simple rule. Every day is probably a good place to start, right? And if you think about social media, how often do you linger on a post when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram? A second, maybe, right? A second. And then you just scroll on, right? So can we post too frequently? Probably not, because the content gets consumed so fast. Brooke, what's my handle on TikTok? I have no idea. I should probably know that. I think it's like at Nick A. Resendez or something like that. It's all food, by the way. There's nothing real estate related on there at all. Just me making recipes. Anyway, so, creating the platform, creating this post schedule, which should be daily. I would say this, you guys should have something on your story minimum every 24 hours. Okay. Minimum every 24 hours. And then a post every day, every couple of days or whatever. And, I know many people that have 5 to 10 things on their stories every single day because they're just constantly documenting their stuff. Social media basically is like your own TV show. You are creating your own HD TV custom to you, right? So anyway, so that's what we talk about with scheduling. And then we talk about your branding. And then we want to think about your business pages. I generally, with newer agents, I don't even recommend you start the business page for a month or two. You need to really focus on your personal presence on your personal page first. Show people who you are and your personality. Show them what you do for work. And then you can create the business page. And the only reason you really need a business page to start is so you can run paid ads. But what I know is when you send that little message out that says, please like my page, right? Everybody that's a realtor will go do that for you, right? Which is not the people you want following your page anyways. And then maybe 10% of your friends will actually go and like the page, okay? All your eyeballs are already on your personal pages, so use that to start, okay? Drafts, creating drafts of posts you want to schedule. Command allows you to create drafts and schedule posts out so you don't have to do it all live. I'll show you that real quickly, but in one of our other classes, we'll go deeper into how to create a scheduled post. Okay, I'll show you that right now, real quick. So if we go into command again, and we go to our campaigns section, when we go to our campaign section, and command froze. Okay, tech, everybody, this is how it works. So anyways, trust me when I tell you what's there. I will come back to that in a little bit. My apologies. All right, we'll keep going. Don't want to waste your guys' time. I think it just came up. Yeah, it did. So up here in campaigns, you have social posts, right? And you can go in there and create posts for the next like 2 weeks, basically. And you just use the create a new campaign tab. Usually you want to have some content made first. So you'd probably would go into designs first to go find some content, right? You can create a new design template or whatever. And remember, inside designs, there are a whole bunch of Instagram and Facebook posts that are formatted for the platform already made. You just have to download them and then upload them back into your campaign. Okay. Also, just a reminder in campaigns, which we'll cover this in another class again, but we have these quick posts down here. One of which is to create a neighborhood video, which we've done in the past. It takes less than a minute, and you could be putting something out for a different neighborhood every single day of the week. Okay. So scheduled post is a great opportunity for you guys. All right, let's go back into our PowerPoint and let's keep plugging forward here. So, you know, we selected our channels, our you know, media platforms that we're going to use. Seeking the prospects means, like, seek is who are you going to target? What do you want to do? Do you want to create information around locations? Do you want to try to create a specific audience for groups? You can create your own groups within these platforms, right? In Facebook, you can make your own, you know, group for how to buy your first home and start generating content in there, or, you know, how to move up, or, you know, how to buy up in a down market, or vice versa. There's all kinds of stuff you can create around groups, wealth building, you know, and being that resource, which can be an incredible opportunity. Share obviously means posting your content. But you also want to, you know, take some initiative in social media. You can't be the lurker. You can't be the one that just goes and looks at stuff. You got to put your own content, and then you got to engage. You got to share other people's posts. You got to monitor and see what kind of results you're getting from your own posts. Use the scheduling, etc. Right? And then service is the last piece to this. Service. So communicate with people who interact with your posts. If somebody comments, you need to comment back. If someone likes, give them a like back, give them a follow, shoot them a message, right? If you can, ultimately generate contact information by asking, what's your email? I want to send you some information about real estate, especially when they react to a real estate post, okay? Acknowledge reaction. So if they, you know, heart something and not just like it or laugh or whatever, you know, engage with them. Send the follow-up messages. Return the favor, return the likes, return the shares. Ask for business. Do you know anyone that needs to move, right? And then continually follow up over and over and over again. One thing we talk about in real estate just in general is the 80-20 rule. They say a good place to start is that you have 20% business, 80% personal on your page. I would say probably, you know, I would push that closer to 50-50 to start. You want people to really see who you are and what it is you do, so they think of you in the real estate space. And I would also say this, as you're posting, see what kind of reactions you're getting. Are you getting more people reacting to your personal stuff, or more people reacting to your business stuff? And depending on which one you're getting more reactions from, that's the one you want to focus on, because that's what's getting more eyeballs and engagement. And those are the ones that, you know, the platforms are trying to bump up because it's getting more engagement. You know, Facebook, Instagram, all these different social media platforms, they have artificial intelligence, much like we do. And their algorithms decide what to show you, right? They decide what to show you based on engagement. They want to keep you looking at the platform for as long as possible, because every couple of posts they're running an ad in front of you, right? So the longer you stay on, the more ads you see. So if, you know, a certain GIF or a certain picture or a certain meme isn't working with other people, they're not going to show it when you post it either. Okay. So you really want to be looking and seeing how many people like that post versus this other post, and how can I create more content around that as well. So that's how you would, you know, kind of start with the 80-20 rule, and then let that evolve a little bit into, you know, what it might look like in the future based on the results, right? It's all performance based. Okay. All right. So let's jump into more of an action plan for yourself. So let's take action and develop your plan. So now that you understand and see all the different varieties of prospecting methods, it's trying to get more purposeful about the activities that you choose to do, okay? The average millionaire real estate agent is getting the majority of their business from their top 2 lead sources, okay? And 90% of their business from their top 5. So your top producers really have 1 or 2 dominant lead sources, and then they'll have a group of, like, you know, 5 total that they're really focusing on. Okay. So that might be, you know, referrals, sphere of influence, past clients, you know, online ads or leads, or whatever, open houses, geographic farm, you know, phone prospecting, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So with that said, we want to talk about developing your own action plan. So let's go ahead and jump into your manual again. And here's where we're going to do some of this work. I want you to go to page 13 inside of your manuals. And basically, you're going to use that list that you already worked on, the one that was on page number 4, okay? And we're going to kind of transcribe some of that stuff onto page number 13, okay? So the list you wrote on page 4, just write it down into the first column on page 13. All the ones that you already wrote, rewrite them onto page 13. That's step 1. And then step 2, which you could probably go right to if you want. Step 2, put them in order. Put them in order of importance. Rank them in the order that you think are going to be the most effective, the ones you're going to like to do the most. And then the third thing you're going to do is just take the top 5. So if you only have 5, it'll be all 5. That's the third column. But otherwise, pick the top 5 that you wrote if you had more than 5 and put that into the third column. Okay, so that just should take us a couple of minutes. So at the end, the last column should have your top 5 lead generation sources. And then when you're done with that, let's move into the next page, page 14. So we're going to do a little 4-part prospecting plan here. Okay, so on page 14, part A says, take the first 3 lead gen sources from your top 5 and write them in. We're going to focus on these 3. Just put them in there, 1, 2, and 3. And then in part B, again, page 14, part B, here's where you're going to write in those same 3 sources, right? In the middle there where it says 1, 2, and 3. And what you're going to do next is you're going to create a pro and cons list underneath each of those methods. So if number one is social media, write down the pros and cons. It might be, it's free, it's easy, it's quick. The cons might be that it is passive. I have to create content, but I don't know what the content is. And I'm not very extroverted, so I don't like to post a lot. And then the same thing for the second source, right? If it's geographic farm, what are the pros and cons? Works long-term, con might be cost money, right? So just write down, because you want to be very clear about what's going to be great about it and what's not going to be great, what's going to suck about it and why. So let's do that for all three of the sources that you did. Write down the pros and the cons. Really important to understand the advantages and the disadvantages for all your lead gen initiatives. Some of it will be great, but remember, it's not all rosy. So the next piece to this, and I know some of you are still kind of writing down the pros and cons, which I'll let you finish later. The next piece to this, I want you guys to pick one of the three that you're working on your pros and cons list here, okay? And maybe it's the one you really think you're gonna focus on the most. So let's use that for the next piece here. Turn the page to 15, the next page. And where it says prospecting method I selected, you're going to write that in there. And here's where we're going to really dial in to this source. Okay. So the questions asked are the resources needed. What resources do you need for that lead gen? What is the time frame? Meaning how long till you start? How long are you going to do it for each day, each week? How much time are you going to invest into this lead gen source? Who are you targeting? Right? Remember, we want to have a message to specific people. Doesn't have to be just one. It can be multiple targets, but you do want to be clear that you're going to have different messaging for different people. And then the next one says, what action do I want someone to take? Meaning, what's the call to action? What's the call to action? Is it a phone call, a message, downloading something, going to a website, etc. The next one will be, how will I know if I'm successful? How can you measure your success based on that method, right? Maybe it's new contacts into a database, appointments set, number of new followers on social, etc. And then lastly is, how will I keep track of my results? So what are you going to use to track and monitor? So go ahead and fill in all of those questions for the lead gen source that you picked. And again, if you guys have questions, feel free to unmute, ask questions. What are the resources? What do you need? Do you need knowledge? Do you need tools, education systems, support? What's the time investment going to look like? Who are you looking for? Who are you trying to target? That in and of itself, guys and gals, I think for today is a big takeaway. What is the target? Who are the targets, and how are you creating specific messaging directly to those people? What's the call to action? What are you looking to do? Are you looking to generate inbound calls, direct messages? Are you looking to get people to take advantage of a value offering, such as a free home buyer's guide, so you're capturing email addresses, things like that? And then how do you know you'll be successful, and how will you track your success and monitor the results? Okay, guys, I see you all being super diligent. At least a few of you writing, taking notes. This is good. You know, remember, it's just all about like having a more of a specific plan and not just going out there and spitballing and seeing what works. Okay, so you want to be clear about what it is you want to do. What do you need to get into action, and then move forward. Okay, so let's move into the last piece. The fourth piece of this is on the next page, page 16. Okay. And it says, just brainstorm potential issues that could arise, and what are you going to do to prevent them from derailing you? So there's a left side and a right side. The left side is what could go wrong, and the right side is what can I do ahead of time to get in front of a potential problem. So write down a couple thoughts. What could go wrong in that lead gen or prospecting initiative? And then on the right side, What action can I take ahead of time? And this is going to take us home. So let's go ahead and do that, and we will start wrapping this bad boy up today. What could go wrong? What can you do to get ahead of it? Okay, guys, I'm not going to drag it out too much longer. I want you to, take some time and finish this stuff after we end the Zoom today. I want you to really be thoughtful. The beautiful thing about having a goal, you all have goals, is that you get the opportunity to create a plan and then execute. And as long as you do the work, the results will follow. Okay. And it doesn't happen overnight, but what you're doing is you're creating the lead measures, meaning the things that you take action on that will create results, what we call the lag measures. Lead measures are the prospecting, lag measures are the commission checks, okay? So being thoughtful about this and creating your custom plan and lead gen strategy is basically making that plan for you to, take action on every single day. There's one last piece that's not really in the manual that I wanted to just share with you guys, okay? I was on a call a long time ago. This is, years ago, but there's a guest speaker talking about what we called the 4 agent archetypes, the 4 different types of agents and how they operated when it came to generating new business. And these are the 4 archetypes. And I was just writing these down. Okay. Number 1, they called it the prospector. Number 1 was the prospector. Number 2 was the converter. Number 3 was the networker. And number 4 was the farmer. And I wanted to give you these so you could think a little bit about them and decide, well, which one of these categories do I fall into? Okay, so prospector is the outbound caller, the one that is, daily doors, daily calls, and just in a lot of activity where they're spending 3, 4, 5 hours a day actively generating new contacts, either by phone or by going door to door or doing the flyer thing, okay? So that's like an outbound prospecting. The converter is the person that was really good at creating inbound lead generation. Maybe that's buying leads or using social media to create inbound traffic, and they would take the calls and convert at a high level with inbound traffic. The networker was the agent that knew a ton of people, had a huge network. They were like the mayors. They knew everybody, and they were constantly meeting new people and really were like, people centric and high relationship. Okay. And then lastly is the farmer. And the farmer is somebody that's really community-based, somebody that's really, focused on their area, their local neighborhood, their city, and are really just proud to be where they are. And they're very plugged in with, maybe the politicians and the local business owners, and they knew all their neighbors, and they organized and sponsored the neighborhood, lunches and the yard sales and all that stuff. Okay. So as you think about those, it'll help you decide, like, well, which one of those do I fall into? And I'll tell you, early on for me, I started as a prospector, not because I knew I was a prospector, but because that's what my broker said to do. 4 hours a day, close to 40 contacts every day. And then I went to expireds, and I was just doing calls every day, over and over and over again. And I had success for sure, but I realized that I wasn't having the success I wanted. And that's when I bought my very first Zillow account for like $90 a month back then. And I picked up a deal almost immediately for almost $1 million. And I realized at that point that I was a lot better at converting inbound traffic. And so I upped my ad spend on Zillow. I made a couple more closed deals. I then bought a fancy high converting website and started doing Google pay-per-click ads and Facebook ads. And really it was just me spending money to create inbound traffic. And I was just on the phone, either responding to or reaching out to these people all day, every day, whether it was Sunday at 8 o'clock. I remember there was a Sunday evening, I got a Zillow lead. I was like, do I take this? It was almost 8 o'clock at night. And it was a guy that had a fourplex that he needed to sell. It was actually a listing opportunity. And I'm glad I took it, because another agent, he told me, called him right after I hung up the phone, but I was there early enough to get the listing. So, I was just converting inbound leads all day and night. And towards the end of my like active full-time sales career, I was doing 50% of online inbound sales and 50% of sphere of influence and referrals. So it took me a while to figure that out, but I did figure it out. And then I was able to leverage and plug in all in onto that. So think about that for you. Okay. So let's wrap up today. I would like for y'all to, I don't want to keep you on the Zoom too much longer. So let's just all think of one aha, one thing that you pulled out of today, one thing that impacted you, made you think, that's just something that, spoke to you today. And I'd like for you to share that with me now. So jump off mute, hit me with a couple of these, and we will wrap up for the day. Who's going first?
Yeah, I think the last thing you said really hit me. Trying to figure out what type of agent my wife and I are going to be, since we're a team. And so that really hit me. It's like, do I want to be a farmer? Do I want to be a prospector? Maybe that might give me a better direction to help me build my business more. So.
Love it. Very good. Yep. Think about that, and think about your personality type and which one that's going to fit with the most.
I'll agree with that, but I'd also like to say that, I kind of feel like there's hope with the open houses and the door knocking that I kind of had just put aside for now. And now I feel like I definitely have some avenues I can pursue in those two areas.
Excellent. I love it. Yep. By the way, you owe me a call. I reached out to you yesterday. Yeah.
I didn't get a phone call from you.
Oh, I hope I have the right number. But anyways, we'll get on my calendar. I'm gonna.
Oh, I didn't. How weird. I didn't get a call or a message from you.
Okay. I'll reach out to you today. I'll make sure I got your right information.
Okay. I'll be heading into Long Beach to meet Jen right after this. So.
Awesome. Good. Love it.
Okay.
One more aha, guys and gals. Somebody hit me with it. One more and we will be done today. Don't be shy, y'all. Someone tell me something. What'd you learn?
I guess more about the actual taking action. So you broke down the different ways to prospect and giving us more content, I guess, knowing what you're going to say to each of these areas that you prospect with.
Sure. Love it. I love it. So being more focused and direct based on these different areas, knowing what you're going to say in your scripting and your content, et cetera, very important. And then, again, it goes back to making a plan, right? Have the plan and execute. And that's what we do day in and day out. And that is what's going to lead to your results. So cool. All right, guys and gals. Well, thank you so much. Great being with you today. 11:37, we will wrap this up. And I will see y'all on the next one. Okay, we'll resume on Thursday, guys and gals.
Thanks, Nick.
You bet. See you guys.